Hi, my name is Stacy LeRosen, and I am applying for the Master of Arts in Teaching Elementary Education at Kansas State University. Um, so, the reason I'm interested in this program is because I want to get my elementary education teaching certificate in the state of Kansas. Um, I currently have my elementary education certificate in Missouri, but that's not what my degree is in. So, in order for me to obtain my teaching certificate in Kansas, I was told that I need to have that degree so that I can obtain my certification. So, I was born in Missouri, grew up here, went to college at Northwest Missouri State, graduated from there in 2018 with my degree in agriculture education. And from there, I went on to get a job in a small rural school um, close to my hometown. I taught junior high and high school agriculture education there. During my time there, I implemented a program called Agriculture in the Classroom with my high school students, and every week, one of my high school classes would plan a lesson for an elementary class, and go into the elementary classrooms and teach them a lesson on agriculture, whether it be planting seeds, making butter, talking about what animals produce what, um, things like that that we implemented with the elementary kids. So during that time, I realized I really enjoyed my time working with the elementary kids. I had breakfast with the third grade class every morning. I really loved the elementary classroom and that age level of students. So at that time, in spring of, well, it was more January of 2019, I went through the testing required to get my elementary teaching certificate in Missouri. However, towards the end of that school year, about March of 2019, I moved to the state of Kansas, and at that time it was a little too late for me to be working on my Kansas teaching, or to try to get into a job at a Kansas school district. So I took some time away from teaching and trained horses. Tried to be self-employed for a while. Anyways, and so then over the last year, I've been training horses. Still really involved with agriculture programs and FFA and things like that because I still am passionate about agriculture. But I would much rather be in an elementary classroom. So um, a couple months ago, I started looking more into obtaining my Kansas Teaching Elementary certification. And after talking with the Kansas Department of Education and exploring some elementary education programs throughout the state of Kansas, I decided on Kansas State's program to get my Master of Arts in Teaching. And so I've been going through the necessary steps to apply for that in order to obtain my elementary certification in the state of Kansas. My experiences in education and with kids, all through high school, I worked at a daycare. I was in the 2 and 3-year-old classroom, and I've always loved that age group. And then when I went on to college, my freshman year, at Northwest, well, freshman and sophomore year, I worked at another daycare where I was in charge of the after-school program for the school-age kids. So I mostly worked with first and second graders at that daycare, and we just did like arts and crafts, recess, things like that at the daycare. And I really loved that age group, but while I was in college, I had already decided to go through agriculture education because I have such a passion for teaching and helping youth grow and things like that. So I went through those steps. I also, during my time at college, spent a lot of time in a 5th grade special education classroom. During one semester, I was in intro to special education, and I was assigned a 5th grade classroom. And once again, I loved that age of students. I just decided not to change my major at the time. So I've always loved all age levels of kids, and after working in a high school classroom, I just really decided that high school was not for me, and so now I'm more interested in obtaining my education degree. I think that I would be a very successful teacher. Coming from an agriculture background, I know how to implement like hands-on activities and things like that. I know how to hold kids' attention, and I can teach a variety of different ways, hands-on, um, both in and out of the classroom. I think there's a lot to be said for students being able not only to hear it from me, but to be able to do it themselves. So when I was teaching ag, the biggest thing was I would teach my students, show my students, then my students would do that. And I think that applies for all age levels of people in general, that they need to see it and then do it. And so coming from that background, I think that I would be a very successful teacher, and I would really help students learn in a variety of different ways, because I don't think all students learn the same way. And I'm very willing to cooperate with students and help understand their learning styles so that I can help them understand what I'm trying to teach them. I have a really strong passion for teaching. I love school. I have always loved school. I knew since I was 8 years old that I wanted to be a teacher. It's just taken me a while to figure out what area I want to teach and where I want to be. So thank you for your consideration of my application, and I look forward to attending K-State soon. Thank you.